Okay, that's a zombie. Ah, why is there a zombie? Why is there a zombie? Why is there a zombie? Why? I can't press buttons. Why am I not pressing buttons? What is happening? Okay. It's not even that threatening. Keyboard. Okay. Jeez, that's a way to start an episode. Okay. What is up, everybody? We are here for episode, what is it? 14? Holy. Alright, well, let's get into this one. We have, as you can see, I am so disorientated. As you can see, we have finished this in the last episode, as well as finishing this build right here. I am so excited with how this thing turned out. Let me show you what it looks like in F4 real quick. Alright, here is a final fly around of this build. I know that there has been a lot of attention put on this thing, however, it is probably my favorite build that I have done so far, at least on this SMP. I think it looks so good, and it was so fun to just be able to play with all the different roofs and the shaping and the texturing and just really actually being able to spend a little bit more time on what this build looked like. That said, you may have noticed that I have actually started a little bit of work on these villager stalls here. These villager stalls have actually been a part of the plan since the very beginning. However, we have finally finished it. We have finally given myself a base layout of what this thing is going to look like, and it even sparked another idea. So that leads us into this area right here. The idea for this is I'm going to have probably some sort of archway, and it is going to lead us into a bunch more villager stalls, kind of looking similar like those to those. I don't know, English. Anyway, something like that over in this area. And I'm not too sure what's going to be the final play here. I want to have this a little bit more open, kind of think like Star Wars Land at Disneyland kind of vibe, and just having it like an open market vibe. Instead of having it an entire house. So that is the goal for this area. Let's hop right into either that or if anything else comes up. Are you ready? Let's go. I now take the back in time to when we had absolutely nothing done for these villager stalls. I am not gonna lie, I did put this off for a very long time. There were a few different ideas and a few different designs that I kind of played with in my head and kind of played with in other worlds just to test it out and see what I liked the best. However, what you see here is the kind of thought process and behind the scenes raw, I guess, decision making, if you want to say that. I went through a couple different versions of this, and I don't think I show all of them here. However, just know there were a few different versions that I did go through. As you can see here, I discovered rope. I didn't know that one of the mods that we had this, so that was exciting. And I ended up using that as a fun little detail behind the post as like a little extra support or whatever. Anyways, then you can see me coming back here and kind of showing off what I had done so far. The top part with the campfires is actually an interesting thing because I ended up taking that down, which you will see here in just a moment, but going back to this, I figured out that I couldn't place the trapdoors there, so I had to put the dirt behind in order for me to place them. Anyway, I went back and forth on that for such a long time, trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with it and couldn't figure it out. Anyway, back to the thing I mentioned with the campfires is that here I had to raise it all by one, which is a pain. And then I ended up figuring out that I didn't have silk touch on my axe, and so I had to sit there with my pickaxe, mining it for probably about 5 minutes straight. Anyway, it took a long time. And then we took the smooth basalt and put it in the frame stairs, which ended up turning out pretty decent. And we put a wall or back wall on this, which I kind of ran into some problems putting some shelves in there, but it ended up turning out pretty good so far. So we kept it. And then, lo and behold, we had a visitor. I am coming up with ideas for this area. I started out with this one because I was like, maybe if I build this, then something will, like, spark an idea or something, and it has. So, hear me out. What if, instead of building an entirely new house right here, and just having these market stalls here, what if somehow I make it, like, this area into more market stalls?
Ooh, like an indoor market stall or something?
Yeah, exactly. So it like carries the same theme and everything, but it carries it inside.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay. I have an idea. An actual idea. Instead of making this into a house, we're gonna make it into market stalls. Woo! I don't really know how, but we're gonna make it happen. What is happening? Oh, I don't know how to make you work. He's spinning on top. Why are you doing that? What is happening here? Well. That's right, you know what it's time for? It is time for more progress. As you can see, we have not gotten back to these villager stalls behind me. Yes, I've procrastinated. Yes, I know I just said we were going to get into it, but for real this time, let's get into the actual rest of this video. Okay, so the idea for this area is that I'm going to start with these villager stalls, but in this area, because the idea is that if I do that, then maybe I'll actually end up knowing what I want the top to look like. There we go. Now all of those are dug out and we just need the stone to fill them in. Skeleton! If I had a bow, I'd so shoot you down right now, but you know what? That's not something I got, so we're just gonna sneak on by. Hopefully you don't see me. This should probably be more than enough, as I misplaced the block. Oh my. We're a little slow today, guys. We're a little slow. Now this one's gonna be interesting, because this specific stall is going to be a little bit smaller, especially because there's going to be two right next to each other. I felt like it was kind of awkward to just have one like massive one wrapping around the corner, so splitting them into two was probably the best idea. I don't really know how that's going to work out in the end. However, we are going to definitely give it a try and kind of just makeshift with what we got. Alright, two more. This is another interesting one because I'm thinking of having the floor a little wonky like this, just because it's on the corner edge and this is going to be raised up as the barrier or the like sectioning off wall type situation. I don't know what I'm saying, honestly, but yeah, that's going to be the sectioned off part, and I feel like having this raised up a little bit more will kind of play with the fact that it is. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll keep it. And then on to the last one. The next part that we have to do is we have to make these trims, I believe, to go around the outside, and it's going to replace all of these dirt layout type situations so we don't have to keep looking at the dirt. And that only made 40 of them. Oh boy. We're gonna start with that. Oh yeah, and I just realized we actually have to pull these out one further because you're able to see that underblock underneath the trims too. Yeah, there we go. Oh, as I misplace it. Oh, good job, Kiki, good job. There we go. Now we just have to repeat this process for all of those. Now this is an interesting scenario because these corner shelves, as you can see, they don't turn over the corners. So in this scenario, we are going to have them facing out this way rather than facing this way, because we don't necessarily want them to see the side, I guess, of this. We want them to be facing the player or the person that is coming through this walkway right here, and I think that that's honestly just a personal choice, but as of right now, that's what that's going to look like. And then over here, we'll just turn it normal. Man, that was messing with my brain. What the... Do we want... No, we don't want this corner block there. Right? I don't even know. Why? I don't know why that's messing with my brain so much. There we go. Hey, we got there in the end. I wonder if it's going to be almost better to have another one in there just because you can see through so well. I think for now I will keep that, but if I need to replace it, then I'll just replace it. On to the next. And then this one, I'm thinking maybe we raise it up a little bit more. I don't know, is that weird? This one's definitely going to test the creativity for sure. Okay, and then this one is the same situation as over there. Because this is the main way that people are going to be viewing this villager stall, all of these are going to be facing out towards the person coming in. And just like that, all of those ones are laid out. We now get to continue on to whatever the next step is. Let's go find out what that is actually. Hang on. All right, and then this part is, it looks like up for interpretation because I separated each of those by 3. However, since these are kind of on the corner, I'm wanting to put these on the corner. However, it looks like it's going to work out pretty decently because of the way I space planned it. So it's looking like if I just go around and put these on each of the corners, wow, I cannot do this today apparently, then all of it will work out in 3s. Yay. Oh, and then there's this one. See, the thing for this is that we don't want people necessarily coming over this way, but we do want people coming over this way. So maybe because this is still the corner, we do need the support right here. And then we also want the extra support here, meaning I should pull this one out just one more, like so. And then if I make this one into a corner piece, ooh, that kind of messes with my brain, then we can put this support there, making this stay in 3s, which works pretty well. I mean, it does kind of give limited access to this one, but I think that will be okay, because we're going to want these on each of the corners too. However, that doesn't play with the 3 very well. Man, this one is being weird. That kind of helps a little bit, because then it gives a little bit more walking room, so you can actually stand up here and be like, I want that, please. Thank you very much. I don't know. I'm not really liking the shape of it though. It makes my brain want to pull it all the way back out to here. You know what? We're just gonna leave it. We're gonna move on. You know what, at this point, I think I'm just learning to stop questioning my decisions, and it's just gonna go vibe building. We're just gonna do vibe building, and whatever comes out, comes out. So I'm going to go into a fast time-lapse mode once again, just like we did for this one, and then I will come back to you after these ones are complete. Let's go! And a rope, and another rope, and another rope, and you guessed it, another rope. Oh my gosh, ropes all over the place. Anyways, then we started replacing the bottoms with a little bit more of a support, just adding the extra wood down there, and we decided to move on with life after this. But we did run into another problem, which you will see in just 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. Oh, I didn't even think of this. It's gotta go down somehow. Oh, this is gonna be a very fun design challenge. Wait, hang on, would that work? Or do we want it to mimic this bottom part so it goes over by 2 and then down by 3? Meaning this part would be 3 and that block would go away. I feel like let's do that one because, yeah, it just mimics it a little bit better. Oh my gosh, we have a friend! Globe, that's fun. Coral block, oh, that's just kind of normal. Hi, buddy! Do you want to be a part of the village? He'll probably despawn, but you know what? It's fun to have you here. Welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoy. Thinking for this one, we maybe just stay away from these trapdoors because of how tight a space it is. And if I am able to fit the trapdoors in, like after everything is put in, then we'll like add all of these ones, if that makes sense. But for now, we're just gonna keep it like this because of what I just said. Way that these slabs are working make it so that I'm feeling like we're gonna have to just make it solid all the way through, even though it doesn't necessarily follow the pattern on the bottom, meaning it's gonna have to stay just like that. I didn't even do anything to you. Why are you guys spitting at me? Alright, now we're going to pause on that for a little bit. We are going to work on the walls. I feel like for the walls, we want them to be mostly the deep slate tiles because we want the wood to be more of the accent, and right now all of the walls around the place are planned to be just normal spruce, especially these walls right here. So with that said, I'm going to take some time to put some deep slate tiles around the place and just kind of replace all of these with them instead. You know what I just realized? I realized that I ran out of deep slate because of all of the other times that we have used deep slate in this village. So you know what that means? Material gathering time, let's go. I just came up with another idea. These dirt pillars are going to kind of mimic what the archway is going to look like here. And then I was thinking, what if I put an archway here as well? I feel like that could also look pretty cool. So we are going to do that after we come back from material gathering, but yeah, putting a archway here, either that, or I feel like from the view of the shrimp statue right here, it could also be kind of fun to maybe have one there mimicking that there's whatever, but I don't know how that would look with having two archways back to back. Anyway, we're gonna have some fun playing with that, and ideas are definitely flowing now, which is good. And we are going mining because I can. Alright, here is what we have done so far. You guys have all seen this villager post right here. This is where we're at for this. We do have to do some tweaking for the arch right here because I don't like it whatsoever. Hi, Enderman. Okay. Anyways, and then as you come into here, we have the temporary pathways. I don't know if I'll keep this because I don't know if I'm in love with it, but for now, that's what it is. And then we also have all of these texturing parts on the walls, which I very much like. Here are what the inside of the villager stalls look like. They each have some rope sections to cut each of the stalls, I guess you could say, into different sections. We also have the shelves. We have the storage chests, and then in each of them, you will see an empty little slot. That is for the villager workbench that is going, I don't know why I can't get in there, that is going to be in each of them. So like this one is going to be here, and then say like if you come up here, this one is going to be right over there, and so on and so forth. So here is what this one looks like, and then you come to the corner, and we also have the last one right here. I do have to finish up a few texturing parts, especially on the outside, because I've only been texturing them from the inside, meaning the outside is going to look a little funky and a little wonky for a little while, especially because I still have to figure out, like I keep saying, the top of this build. However, that is where we're at so far. We have to try to make the top part of this actually look like a normal, decently okay build in the next episode. And on top of that, if we have time, are going to come over to this section and figure out something to do with here, because I have a few ideas in mind, maybe a couple archways and maybe some greenery. But all of that said, I am going to have to cut the video off here short because I am going to do some family stuff this weekend and very much need to get going on that. However, if you want to see what happens in the next episode, it may or may not be the final episode. Who knows? I guess you'll have to stick around to find out. Anyway, with that, I will see you in the next video, episode, or whatever else you see me in. Bye, everybody!